I will briefly focus on differences that rosuvastatin has as compared to other statins. Now, we all know that in any patient population, 1 millimole per liter reduction in LDL cholesterol leads to same relative risk reduction in the risk of cardiovascular events. Now, this data has two important messages. First is that higher the baseline CVD risk, greater is going to be the absolute benefit derived with LDL reduction, because the relative risk reduction is going to be same. And secondly, those patients who have higher baseline LDL cholesterol, they derive greater absolute reduction in LDL-C, and therefore they get more benefit with statin therapy. So based on these messages, all the guidelines today recommend more and more aggressive lipid-lowering therapy in patients who have higher and higher risk of having cardiovascular events. ESC 2019 recommends less than 55 milligram per deciliter goal. Lipid Association of India recommends even less than 30 milligram per deciliter in patients with extreme high risk of having cardiovascular events. Now, today, of all the statins, atorvastatin and rosuvastatin are basically the only two statins which are relevant for our practice, because they have sufficient power to lower LDL cholesterol by these magnitudes. Now, the data from for rosuvastatin, the clinical outcome studies, there are two main studies we all know. One is Jupiter and second is HOPE-3. There are many other studies looking at different endpoints, but as far as clinical outcomes are concerned, these are the two main studies. So rosuvastatin included 18,000 patients, apparently healthy men and women, who had LDL cholesterol which was relatively reasonable, less than 130, but hsCRP was elevated. Rosuvastatin was compared with placebo. The trial was stopped prematurely after just 1.9 years because rosuvastatin had resulted in substantial reduction in the primary efficacy endpoint. There was 44% lowering of the composite endpoint. There was benefit on other endpoints also, like MI was reduced by 54%, NE stroke by 48%. And this was achieved with 50% lowering in LDL cholesterol from baseline, and hsCRP was lowered by 37%. There were no major safety concerns with rosuvastatin as compared to placebo, except that there was increased incidence of new onset diabetes in rosuvastatin group as compared to placebo. This was 3% versus 2.4%. The other relevant study for rosuvastatin has been HOPE-3, which also showed substantial benefit with rosuvastatin in patients who are at intermediate risk of having cardiovascular events. However, there is no large-scale head-to-head comparison between atorvastatin and rosuvastatin as far as clinical outcomes are concerned. And therefore, guidelines do not make any distinction between these two agents. We can use any agent. There's no mention about one over other in any of the guidelines. However, there are some differences which I would like to point out here. This is the pharmacology of atorvastatin and rosuvastatin. Dr. Soumitra Ray already talked about atorvastatin. Rosuvastatin has slightly better absorption, greater bioavailability, but more importantly, it does not undergo liver metabolism through CYP453F4 pathways. Therefore, it has less risk of drug-drug interaction. It is also more hydrophilic. Pravastatin is the most hydrophilic than rosuvastatin as compared to atorvastatin, which is more lipophilic, and therefore it has less chances of crossing blood-brain barrier. So it may have better safety in patients with stroke or in pregnant women, although in pregnant women statins are contraindicated. But if we were to use one, rosuvastatin or pravastatin could be one, and in patients with cardiac transplant. But on the other hand, because it does not enter into the tissue barriers, it may have less direct beneficial effect on the heart. These are the benefits which have been postulated, but how relevant they are clinically, it is not known. What is important here is in relation to rosuvastatin and atorvastatin is rosuvastatin is the most potent statin available at present. This is a meta-analysis of 37 trials, more than 38,000 patients, looked at LDL lowering with different doses of various statins. And as we can see here, rosuvastatin 20 milligram lowered LDL by 52%, which was same as atorvastatin 80 milligram, not 40. So traditionally we think that rosuvastatin is 2 times more potent than atorvastatin, but that is not true. It is 3 to 4 times more potent. The investigators actually also compared dose by dose these different statins. So they found that rosuvastatin 5 milligram was equivalent to 15 milligram of atorvastatin, 10 was equivalent to 30, and 20 was equivalent to 70. So 3 to 3.5 times more potent as compared to atorvastatin. There are differences between these two statins in other lipid components also. This is data from LUNAR study, 825 patients. A lipid profile was repeated after 6 to 12 weeks. So as we know, LDL lowering was much more with rosuvastatin, 20 milligram equivalent to atorvastatin, 80 milligram. HDL lowering was also more with atorvastatin, but triglyceride lowering was more marked with atorvastatin as compared to rosuvastatin. So if we have a patient who has high LDL and high triglyceride also, and we want to use a statin which will lower triglyceride more effectively, apart from LDL, atorvastatin may be a better choice than rosuvastatin. Then there are many studies which have shown that rosuvastatin lowers small dense LDL better, it lowers lipoprotein A better, and it also has greater effect on CRP as compared to atorvastatin. But once again, how relevant these findings clinically are, we don't know. Then there are many studies which have looked at plaque composition and effect of various statins on various plaque morphology characteristics. This is the most famous SECHEN trial. More than 1,000 patients underwent serial IVUS at a gap of 2 years, 104 weeks. So atorvastatin was compared with rosuvastatin here, 2:1 ratio, and as we can see, there was more marked LDL lowering and HDL elevation with rosuvastatin as compared to atorvastatin. Now, the primary endpoint in this trial was percentage atheroma volume. This did not change significantly between the two statins, but total atheroma volume was significantly lowered by rosuvastatin. And when we look at patients who had regression in their plaque size, whether by percentage atheroma volume or total atheroma volume, rosuvastatin was slightly more effective. This is a meta-analysis, very recent meta-analysis of 6 studies looking at plaque characteristics, including the one which I just showed you. And overall, it was found that rosuvastatin was more effective in reducing percentage atheroma volume, as we can see here, and in total atheroma volume. So rosuvastatin may have some more profound effect as compared to atorvastatin on plaque characteristics, which may be because of its greater LDL lowering efficacy. Now, regarding safety issues, there is hardly anything to choose between atorvastatin and rosuvastatin by and large, but there are some important considerations. First is the risk of new onset diabetes. This is a study from Taiwan, more than 8,000 patients, 4-year follow-up. The study showed that in 4 years, 20% patients on rosuvastatin developed diabetes as compared to 18% with atorvastatin. So greater risk of diabetes here. But overall, this risk is actually quite astonishing, 20% patients developing diabetes. But this was probably because in this study, most of the patients who were included, they already had pre-diabetes at baseline with their HbA1c 6.1%, and they were obese also, BMI was 25%. So they were already destined to develop diabetes in due course, and that is the reason why such high incidences. But no doubt that rosuvastatin was slightly more associated with slightly greater risk of diabetes than atorvastatin. Finally, briefly about renal function, there have been concerns about impact of statins on renal function. Dr. Soumitra mentioned that for atorvastatin, we don't have to reduce dose because it is renally safe. So this is a study which looked at 480 patients, followed up for 1 year. As we can see here, there was decline in eGFR in both groups, but slightly more marked in rosuvastatin, and more number of patients on rosuvastatin developed more than 3% decline in eGFR. Now, very recently, KDIGO in 2013 published this guideline in which they have recommended statin doses in patients who have CKD. So they recommend atorvastatin maximum dose 20 and rosuvastatin maximum dose 10 because these are the doses which have been used in trials that included patients with CKD. But We have another very impressive data for atorvastatin from TNT study. TNT study was a large study which compared 10 milligram atorvastatin with 80 milligram atorvastatin. Overall, there was 15% relative risk reduction with more intensive atorvastatin therapy. But when we look at patients who had CKD, in them, atorvastatin 80 milligram was associated with 32% reduction in the risk of vascular events without any added safety risk. So therefore, in CKD patients, atorvastatin may be a better choice, and we can use even high dose atorvastatin here. But if you have to use low dose, then rosuvastatin may be better because it will lead to more marked LDL loading. Effective LDL cholesterol reduction is more important than the choice of statin. Rosuvastatin is, however, the most potent statin available, and it is roughly 3 times more potent than atorvastatin. Efficacy on clinical endpoints appears to be same for both atorvastatin and rosuvastatin, and there is hardly anything to choose between these two statins on this point. There are also no definite safety issues with rosuvastatin compared with atorvastatin, but it may be less preferable in those with CKD. Thank you.